Let us see. Trying to do something different today. Wait for 2 or 3 people to join and we can start to have a conversation today. Our conversation today, our conversational topic today. Is that Kevin Hilderell? Oh no. Hi Sarah. How's it going? Good evening. I'm coming on a little early today. Got something heavy I want to share. I feel it's imperative that we can Tech Omega. Now that's a deep name. Heather, hi. Sarah, no, I'm not trying to get it right. Clarice, hi, how are you? Thanks for joining or passing by. It's fine. T.S. Sweet. Carol Smith. Have I seen you before? Probably. Maybe not. Michael Stone, how you doing? Appreciate you for joining. Danny Wire, thank you so much. Tanisha McFurl. All right. I don't want to butcher nobody's name. Sue Ball, hi. Barbara, how you doing? Tanya, how's it doing? How you guys doing this evening? Welcome, 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 welcome. I can't say your name, love. It sounds, I can't. I try. Yolanda Zimmer. Anyway, we got enough people in the room. Let's get into today's message. I want to talk about rumination, right? Because hi Michelle. Hi, how are you? Renee, I want to talk about rumination. The reason being the reason for me wanting to talk about rumination, that is the one part that holds us hostage. Because you're well aware of the things that you control and you're aware of the things that you can't control. And you understand that the things that you can't control tend to remain uncontrollable. Like it just spirals out. How we doing, Eric? Hey, well, honey, welcome. I'm excited that you're here. You know, familiar faces that come into the room. We going to make it quick today. I only got about an hour. Because I got, a client that I'm about to get on with at 7:30. All right, so we're going to be here for an hour. We're going to make it short and sweet, but we're just going to get to the message. And the message that we're going to address today is we're going to try to connect rumination, how that heightens your cortisol, and how that exacerbates your blood pressure anyway. You understand what I'm saying? Because like I said, if you go into my page, Wale Alpha, what's going? What's up? Anyway, you're rich. Okay. Anyway, so let me start. The thing that we suffer from the most is that we worry about the things that we can't control more than the things that we can. So what you find yourself in this nebulous space of reinforcing everything that's not working, and you continue to ruminate, and this thing becomes like spinning in the mud. Like you just continue going and you're going and you're going and you're going, and there's no, hey T, what's happening? And you keep on going, and there's no foreseeable solution in sight, but it won't stop you. And a lot of us carry this rumination from past events in our lives. Like you've had somebody that rubbed you off the wrong way, a parent that did not do well by you, a co-worker that tried to play you, they try to come for you, you know what I'm saying? They said something slight, they said something out the side of their neck real quick, and you're like, wait a minute, you don't know me. Like you have no idea who I am and what I'm, you know what I'm saying, and where I come from and the things that I have the capacity to do. I got to put my inside voice, for us, Africans, Americans, or whatever, ashwagandha. I'm trying to tell you. And as much as we talk about the things, the medications, like the supplements, which we're going to get into to help regulate your nervous system, I want to try to see if I can attack the root cause a little bit. Because the objective of these conversations are trying to put back the burden of you being well into your own hands. Taking your wellness back. Like, you have the going narrative in today's administration. We're trying to make America great again. I'm trying to make your health great again. I'm trying to put you in a mindset where you start operating knowing that the burden for which I carry or the things that I need to do, like it's me, like nobody's coming. The government has clearly shown you with the layoffs and everything else, like nobody's coming. Nobody's say for serious perseverance, you need the triage ashwagandha. Okay, absolutely. But the thing about it is before we get into the supplements, there has to be a mental shift. There has to be a mental shift. Say focus less on the White House and more on my house. I made a whole video about that, right? But a lot of us, we fall into this space of trying to control the uncontrollable. And that's a death will. That's a death cycle. Like, that's something that's never letting up. You understand what I'm saying? And then that trickles over into how I present myself to everyone else, right? Because I'm operating from this place of regurgitated offenses. Like, I'm holding this offense, I'm holding it to my heart. You know how many people have died and gone off of this saying, what this person did to me, I would never forgive them. You know how much energy it takes in your heart to be able to hold, how much energy it takes to hold on to an offense? You understand what I'm saying? Do you know how much energy it takes to hold on to offense? It's like you can't even compromise that, and you can't even equate that or equate that to lost cause, to lost cost. Because you understand that the things that you ruminate over automatically by default takes away from the things that you can focus on, that you can control. So the more you're focused on the things that you can't control, the less you're focusing on the things that you can control. And in reverse, the things that you can't control actually have more possibilities attached for you to be able to win. Because if you understand that, hey man, I know for a fact that if I can control how I view exercise, then it no longer becomes a chore, no longer becomes a burden. You understand what I'm saying? If I can look at it from a real logical perspective, from the things that I know I can handle, it's like, yo, I know I'm not going to lean into my desires, or I'm not going to lean too much into my wants and needs and those cravings that are killing you. And that's where we start talking about, the supplementation. But if I know I can accomplish this mission, this goal, then I become excited by even mapping it out, like having the strategy, like, all right, let me write this down. Like, okay, today I'm going to do this. Tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do this at 9:00. I'll be able to go to the gym. I'll be able to do these things. When you start really pondering on the things that you can't control, your mind opens up to a whole new world of possibilities. But that's not the case for most people. That's not the case for most people. We are tethered and attached to the offenses of our past, the things that did not happen, the people that offended you, the people that slighted you, the people that gossip about you, the people that wasn't on your side. They try to play you. They came for you sideways. They try to talk down to you. They made you feel, put this in the comments, y'all, humble. People that can't win around you, or people that see you winning, the first thing they do is try to humble you. They try to tell you that you're not all that. They try to make you believe everything that you're not, and try to put all of those things in your forefront. That's the first thing they do. The moment, like, you know what I'm saying, like I said it in so many of my lives or whatever, I come from New York. So now I come from an era of, let me just be, without trying to go deep down into the dirty or whatever. It's a lot of hostility. You know what I'm saying? You coming in from, these overpacked metropolitan areas. Like it's clustered, right? Everybody on top of everybody. And when you see the experiments, when they did the experiments, that's a movie, the Tyrone movie, where they put everybody in the ghettos or whatever, they put them on top of each other. Ultimately, they'll start to revert and start to attack themselves, right? And most of where this attack is coming from the frustration and the stress of being confined within a specific mindset, within a specific area, within a specific domain, either it be physically or, mentally. You're confined to an area and you never give yourself permission to leave. And this is the reason why we talk about giving yourself grace and giving yourself the ability to focus on the things that you have the ability to control. Like, you can modulate that. Like you're in the driver's seat. Called main character energy. Like, you have the ability to construct a clear plan of execution of the things you're going to do, and you're going to see a result instantly. And quite frankly enough, the things that you can control, you can measure. The things that you can control, you can measure if you're doing good or not. Ultimately, you can measure if you're doing good or not. Hi, my name is, for those that have been here, honey, I appreciate y'all. For those that have been here, Dante. Is it Dante? I don't want to be met. Dean Taylor. Sorry, my bad. I know we've been here together before. Hi, my name is Richard. I'm a health coach. I help people over the age of 40 regulate. I help people, transform their life through minor lifestyle adjustments. right? And the first thing, like if you go onto my page, the first thing that I talk about more, especially than anything else, is your ability to have a mental shift first. If we can create a mental shift, if I can give you a sense of safety where you put your hand on your chest and you like, you know what, the world is all right. Like I ain't finna die today. Like I know what's happening out here. I know what the White House is talking about. But as of today, like right now, in my house, there's light. In my house, I can go use the bathroom. Like I said, I posted it on Instagram. Yeah, if that's not too much to ask to follow me here and follow me on Instagram. Neither here. The message is gonna be free on either platform. But I was listening to Abraham Hayes this morning, and she was talking about your morning affirmations, which, if you are in this journey, is the first thing you do to prime yourself and, calibrate your mind so that you can start seeing more possibilities as opposed to, obstacles and stuff like that. And she said, when was the last time? Yeah, Abraham Hicks. My bad. I apologize. But it's Hicks, not Hayes. Okay. Thank you so much. She was saying something to the effect of, when was the last time you gave gratitude for your bathroom and the bed that you slept in? I was like, ooh, it hit different. Because she made this clear point. She was like, what we enjoy today, it said, you made her a sister. Eric, I'm trying to focus, baby. I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, my bad. But the point that she made that really hit me this morning, that got me thinking or whatever, was the fact that she said, when was the last time you gave gratitude for your bathroom, like the plumbing? When was the last time that you gave gratitude for the stove that you have or the power that you have? And I'm looking at it like, wait a minute, that's a whole fact. Because she pointed out another fact. She was like, the amenities that we take for granted today that we don't even look as being special was what was only allotted for royalties 100 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? Like the things that we have today, let's say a little bit over 100 years or whatever. But most of the things that we have today, the technology that we have and everything that we freely enjoy, our transport system, our train system, 100 years ago, they ain't had cars like that. Not everybody had the ability to buy cars. So if you were able to get into your vehicle today and go to your place of work and still, and then, we don't want to go into the part of, the discrimination, but the places that we can get in and all that over there as people of melanated folk. Let me not say people of color because that's derogatory in its own way. But people that are heavily melanated, right? We didn't have those same abilities. We did not have that same access. We didn't have that same access back then. So to operate in that space right now, it gives you a new sense of perspective, gives you a new mental shift for you to start to really, really appreciate the things that you have. And this is the reason why I started to even start this live, to say, yes, absolutely love her. I listened to her for years. No, I appreciate you too, Eric, man. Like the fact that you even comment and come here with positivity, because this is nothing but love. And like I say, everything that I say is lived experiences. And, seeing that I've been able to have, a vast amount of experience, like, from the hood to school. Like I went to school in Brooklyn. I had an associate's in Brooklyn, got a bachelor's and a master's in the Bronx. Right, moved to Atlanta, went to school down there, GSU in Maryland, and worked for the federal government. So I've had a vast amount of experience just through life or whatever. And, working in as a personal trainer back at Bally's. Yeah, anybody know Bally's? Am I dating myself right here? Back in Bally's in New York or whatever. And then you come to, I went to Atlanta and then school and becoming, working in the lab with, different type of human samples like saliva, hair, stool. I call it doo-doo. It stink. But anyway, having all of this experience is what I'm able now to put in concise and deliver it to you in such a manner that there are things that we need to have as a major priority for ourselves. There are things that we need to put first when we are trying to look at our day-to-day activities. And the one thing that doesn't get any easier is life's responsibilities as you start to age. Or you start to, one year, if you're in your 40s, you're 41, you're not necessarily old, but you're at the point now where your responsibilities don't get any lesser, right? Where the adulthood, like, I think somebody said this in the past, like, being 40 is the adolescence of adulthood. Like you're old enough to see your kids in college, but you're not old enough to have, multiple grandkids or whatever, great grandkids or so have you. But, this is a conversation that we can go in on another time. But the real objective of this conversation today is to understand that your ability to manage the things that you can control and the things, your controllables and your uncontrollables, and understanding that your uncontrollables only begets more things that spin out. So you start to ruminate. And the word ruminate, I'm not going to the etymology of it, but where you can see it in nature is where cows, they go out and they eat their hay, they eat their grass. What they do is, they have multiple compartments of digestion and, in their digestive tract or whatever. So they'll put it in the first compartment and then regurgitate that and then chew it again to make the bacteria and everything more bioavailable for it to break down into the system. And what happens is that this is what we do mentally. This is what we do mentally to ourselves, right? You take the offense. And like I said before in one of my past videos or whatever, the offense might have happened 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And you're still walking around that offense. So now you're walking around like a live wire. You're walking around like a match ready to spark off. And that's how you have people that crash out. That's the antithesis of, most people's midlife crisis. Because you sit down now and you start ruminating on all the opportunities that you missed as a youngin'. Every turn that you could have made, things that you could have done. And although you are suffering mentally, your body is having a very, very adverse present effect. Your blood pressure is skyrocketing. Your cortisol is skyrocketing, right? Your insulin is dropping. Your insulin sensitivity is increasing. So with insulin sensitivity decreasing rather, that means you leaving yourself open to all worlds of hurt and pain, the headaches, the thyroid, the thyroid problems, the PCOS, the fibroids. All of these, as much as everybody wants to attach it to some genetic makeup, it's coming from the food and it's coming from your mental signaling. Like you're always telling yourself that I am constantly in a state of stress. Your anxiety is always up. You stay replaying and rehearsing the hurt over and over and over again. And that's why we're easily triggered. That's why we're so, in most cases, emotionally unstable. And until you've decided within yourself, this is why therapy is so essential, even for your weight loss journey. I'm not a therapist. I'm a health coach. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a scientist. I work for the Department of Defense out here in the DC area. I've had experiences on all levels and all planes of, when it comes to the exposure of just the human condition. And being an African American male in a predominantly, Caucasian environment, I'm 6'2", y'all. Roughly about 270. It does not make my presence welcoming. No. You understand me? So I've had to deal with all of these things and understand that offense is only a part, like the scripture said, that offense will come. Like this is an inevitable part of our life. Like it's not anything that we can avoid. You understand what I'm saying? Offense will come. But your ability to understand that I can't control what that next man do. You can't control what that next man say to you, that next woman say to you. You don't have no control over that. And it's so cliche because we say it all the time. Well, you can't control what happens, but you can control your response. How well has that worked for you if you really haven't sat down and give it any thought? If you haven't really sat down to actually give this thing some thought to say, well, you know what? All jokes aside, there's a really clear distinction of the things that I can control in my life. There's a clear distinction of the things that I can actively take action on. A clear distinction of the things that I can actually fix and repair. Hey, Jose. Hey, welcome. Either you're passing by or you just stopped by for a quick second. We're talking about rumination and how that affects your entire nervous system and how that, has an adverse effect on your blood pressure, ultimately increasing your cortisol, ultimately weakening the linings of your arteries. Because when you have this exacerbation of anxiety, like your body is in that state of flight or fight mode, right? Fight or flight mode, your parasympathetic system. Nervous system. When the body is constantly in that state, what happens now, you are always running on a high alert, and you know what I'm saying, like you're never at peace with yourself, you're never safe. And this is you being in the company of in the being in the company of friends and family. You can still be having high anxiety, which ultimately leads to depression, because at some point now you get tired. You get tired, and that's that narrative. When we talk about our sisters and we say, she's tired of being strong, is because she has to plan everything, she has to move, she has to coordinate, she has. Hey Jazz, how you feeling? Thanks for stopping by. She has to plan everything. So now anxieties and everything and stress is at its all-time high, and there's really nothing that you can do about it until you decide. Like the burden of proof is on you. And now all of these things that, exacerbate your rumination and exacerbate stress lead you directly to the doctor. So we had somebody on here that was talking about ashwagandha. I learned how to block folk real quick, because again, this message is not something that you don't already know, because a lot of the information I share here, you can always Google it. It's not anything special. But the fact that I can put my life experience behind it and give you a different context. And the reason why I'm actually talking about controllables and non-controllable is not like I haven't heard that for the past maybe 20 years of my life. But somebody got on this app and said that to me, and automatically that thing just clicked. I mean, I'm talking about sparks going off in my head. I'm like, what do you mean controllables? I have an ebook. I have a planner where I wrote, in order for you to regulate stress, you're going to take vitamin D, you're going to walk in the sun, and you're going to control the things that you can't control, and things. And I'm trying to tell you, I'm in my 40s, y'all. I'm mid 40s over there. I tell you, I'm 48 years old, y'all. I look good. Nah, that's not even the point. I'm 48. And it just, sparks went off in my head like, wait a minute. Every time you stay up at night, you worrying about something that, you worrying about this, is keeping you up at night. You wake up in the morning, you worrying about it. You rehearsing it over and over again. You mean to tell me that this whole time I could have just let it go? And guarantee you now, there's some people that are on this live now that had that awakening, because I call it an awakening. It's not like you don't have the information. I call it an awakening. You had that awakening when you were 25. Because the world had beat you down so much so that you was like, man, listen, I just can't, you like charge that to the game, baby. There's nothing I can do about that. It's going to be what it's going to be. And now you take that into your everyday life. You take that into your everyday practice. So that when somebody says something you off rip, and they coming out the side of their neck, or a supervisor or a client or a customer that you're dealing with is starting to be combative and starting to be resistant, it's like, well, listen here. I can only come to you with love, kindness, empathy, love, light, and healing. And if you're not in a position to receive that, I can't do nothing. I have satisfied my conscience that I've been able to give and operate at the best that I'm capable of. And if it is that you can't receive it, there's nothing I can do to control that. You understand what I'm saying? If you're driving, hi Deborah White. All right, that's a special name. Thanks for dropping in or stopping by. If you are driving and, like I lived in Atlanta, like driving traffic is crazy. Like it's bananas. Like, we're not signaling. I started driving like that too. And this is where I talk about environments. You paying, you not being self-aware. And it's like, okay, if we all gonna drive crazy, right? But coming to realize that if I personally I'm not aware of the things that I control, I will attribute all of my offense and all of my anger outside of me. And if I can put that anger outside of me, I automatically rob myself the ability to actually find a solution. And that's why the blame game is just so detrimental in every form and fashion. When you start blaming folk for things that you have the responsibility to change. You understand what I'm saying? When you talk about relationships, like, dogs, you dated him. Or sis, you dated. You understand what I'm saying? You dated, or her, you dated her. This, that, and the third. And now you switch it around as if, it was on them. They gaslit you. They narcissistic. At some point, you can't control how that person is going to react. I know we have expectations and we have hopes, and we're so excited and expecting ourselves out of the people that we meet. But in most cases, that's usually not what happens. you find yourself and sometimes and you're receiving, the bad end of the situation. And your ability to know that, like that be a mantra for you. I can only control. That's, and people doing alcohol anonymous or drugs anonymous, and they like give me the serenity to be able to understand the things that I can handle and the things that are without of my power. Like, I don't have the capacity to make someone do something that they're not willing to do. And it's more so from a point of view, your ability to take accountability for your own mental state. Like I say a lot on my page or whatever, it's your ability to regulate your emotions. If you are able to regulate your emotions, that means you're able to have a better mind shift. If you're able to have a better mind shift, that means the things that are necessary for you to take the next step to live at the highest level, or a better potential, in a better state, is easier for you to accomplish. Because I tell people, I said I have a 30-day planner on my website. I have a 30-day planner. If I can get you to understand that the things that I can control what I watch. I can control what I eat. I have a level of autonomy over the amount of time that I spend scrolling. I have a level of autonomy over the time that I spend gossiping or watching, hi Aaron, watching TV that's not productive. You understand what I'm saying? Taking information or listening to music that does not edify or lift my soul. I have the ability to control that. You start to see you now being able to set boundaries for yourself that you can work with. And the more, and the beauty of handling the things that you can control, they compound on each other. Because when you take that first step and it worked, it's like, wow, that felt good. You're going to take the next step. You're going to take the next step. And then every time that you take a step, you separate yourself from the things that you can't control so far, so that when somebody starts to bring negativity your way, you can easily say, that ain't me. I'm not on that. When you have that cooler talk at work and people start talking about, you're like, I don't do that. And at first it's going to seem like you're a weirdo, which is perfectly fine, because you understand everything that works for the world is not geared to making your life better. So to most people, when you start making adjustments that prioritize you and you start complaining, because complaining is the natural default, is the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing that puts you in some level of control, because the more you can complain. Money Love, appreciate you for joining, stopping by, or whatever. The more that you can complain about it, it exempts you, or it like, it takes away the responsibility from you to actually take action to fix it. So you continue to complain about something, and you continue to focus on the things that you can't control, even if you try. Like, you don't have the ability to. Just received an email from your brother Nim from Tesla that sent an individual email to every federal employee. Like, that's never been precedented. I call that some level of espionage on some level, dude. You sent an email to every employee telling them to give you a 5 bulletin point of what you did last weekend. It's like, wait a minute. First and foremost, how did you get that level of access? Like, that right there, you have access, you have top security clearance to be able to do that. And you did that anyway. But if you understand, like, there's nothing I can do to stop that. I couldn't stop it. You can't stop this man from writing all these executive orders. Yeah, you can complain and petition and do all of that and everything else that you want, but it's not going to stop him. You know what you can do? Shut that TV off. Stop being so hyper. I know, it's unbelievable. I'm stuttering now, because do you understand what it takes when you work for the government in any agency or whatever? There's a chain of command, right? There's a chain of command. Like, you got the executive people, and then you got the SCS people, and then you got the high GS levels or whatever, and whatever needs to be sent down to the minions at the bottom, it'll follow and come down through management. Absolutely, Sharon. So you received that email. Bugged the life out of me. It bugged the life out of me. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, did you just? And then you had some people from the other side or whatever that was like, yeah, they went ahead and replied. When we got a strict email that came in about a couple of hours later, talking about, because he sent it on Sunday. We got an email on Monday saying, don't worry about it, the union's gonna handle it or whatever, and don't make no moves until, we get further instructions. But I'm saying to you, from the point of your controllables and the things that you ruminate over and the things that you discuss on a daily basis, or the things that you rehearse in your mind on a daily basis, I can't do nothing about this dude sending an email. I can't. Like, I'm powerless within. But it's not a situation now where you start learning being hopeless in the situation. What you can do is you continue about your business and you start focusing on the things that you can improve. You start focusing on the things that you have control over. So it was a nice day out here, in the DMV area and whatnot. It was a nice day out here. So please, like, today would have been a perfect day for your lunch break or whatever. You went and take a little walk. You got a little sun. It wasn't that hot. It wasn't that cold. It was in between. You probably need a hoodie or whatever. But you could have went out for a little walk today, just where you gather your thoughts. No music, no stimulation, no nothing. Just where you gather your thoughts and be able to center yourself. Because the objective of having a regulated nervous system is for you to feel safe. And a lot of us are in crowded rooms where we don't feel safe. A lot of us, hi Kiki. That's like the song. All right, my bad. I'm focused. We got rid of the distractors, y'all. When blocking all of them, right? The heightened level of your anxiety is only reduced and diminished by your ability to tell yourself that you're safe. Hi, Rufa, that you're safe. And safety doesn't come from, the money that's in your bank. It's something that is actually spiritually inclined. So yes, I'm a man of God. Yes, I believe in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, that he died and he resurrected, and he is the reason for the season. He's the reason why we operate and live, because we operate in Christ consciousness. But understanding that your safety is not within the things that you have the ability to, you know what I'm saying? It's not in your hands. So knowing that in any space, again, for those that are just joining, my name is Richard. I'm a health coach. I help people over the age of 40 transform their lives, like have a turnaround, 180-degree turnaround through lifestyle modifications for better sleep, through diets, through exercise and everything else, and just overall empowerment for you to make the decision that you've already known to make. If I've been able to hold your attention for the amount of time that I've been here, then there's something on the inside of you that wants to do better. There's something on the inside of you that is pushing you. Is like, you know what? I'm not saying that I'm not happy where I'm at, but I could do a little bit more. There's a little bit of something right here that I could work on. I could work on the way that I talk at people. Sometimes I could be a little snappy. Sometimes I could be, a little bit combative. Sometimes I can, be slightly irritated. And we are looking at the environment as everything that is causing that irritation, and never at no point are we looking at ourselves to say, wait a minute, is there anything that I can do to try to, ease, like cool down, like calm down a little bit? Is there anything that I can do for myself? Because internally, we all be knowing where our triggers lie. You already know your pet peeves. You know the things that set you off in the wrong direction, right? More than often. And what we're trying to hone down here, or what we're trying to focus on, are the things that set you in the right direction. Because if we can ultimately set you in the right direction, then we can be able to have a better handle on the way that we present. You can have a structured outlook, or a more optimistic outlook on how you look at your health, on how you look at your family, on how you look at your job, even though, it ain't where you want to be right now. But the few couple dollars you're getting from there or whatever is either going to help you start your business, or it's either going to help you, get a new wardrobe, or help you get interview coaching, or help you get into a space now where you're able to take the next step along the journey of your development. So no matter where you are, no matter where you find yourself in this time and space or whatever, there's always something for you to be not just grateful for, but you to ruminate on in the right direction, if that's making sense. So topic of discussion again is just clear. There are things that you can control, and there are things that you can't control. And the more you ruminate on the things that you can't control, you are going down a spiral of ultimate crash out. That's like indefinite. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're going to continue to rehearse this offense. You're going to continue to look at it from every single way, 7 ways from Sunday. And there's no solution in sight. So you continue to spin. It's like spinning in the mud, or you see somebody spinning in the snow, whatever, whatever. It's going around and round and round. Your mind is on a constant hamster wheel. And when that's happening, your body response to that is like, it's high alert, it's high alert, it's high alert, warning, 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 warning. Your cortisol is going up, your norepinephrine is going up, your adrenaline is going up, heart rate's going up, your blood pressure is going up. Other bodily functions that actually help stabilize your system are not being, they're not the point of focus, because now your body is in constant survival mode. So when you continue and then you go to sleep like that and wonder why you wake up not rested, because mentally you've still been working. The mind has still been working. The mind it was funny when I heard that a few years ago. It's like, you didn't realize that when you go to sleep, your mind don't go to sleep. That's why you have the capacity to dream. And if you're an empath, or you have any kind of heightened sense of awareness, you remember the dream too. Who was there? Who was in that dream? What was happening in the dream? You understand me? So there are mechanics and pathways in your bodies that operate 24/7 that never go anywhere. It's right there. It don't do nothing. You up. You up. Right? You stay up. So if you are taking this level of negative energy or offense rehearsal into your sleep, you're waking up with that same negative offense and rehearsal when you wake up. And that perpetuates itself. And you will see people that will live and move on, transition on, holding on to that offense, talking about, I never forgive him. Like I was just telling the story. I don't know if y'all saw it. There was a post on the For You page of this 77-year-old white male that had a black eye, and he was sitting in the bed. It had the article underneath it. And he said he went to confront a bully that had bullied him in grade school. Good evening. Thank you, Lord. Appreciate you for joining. Thank you so much. I get excited when I see familiar faces, y'all. I be getting hype in my spirit. Thank you for joining. I appreciate y'all. We're just talking about rumination, like your ability to handle the things that you can't control and the things that you can't control. And the more you spend time on the things that you can't control, it's like a negative, toxic feedback loop. You're not going to get no solution from the things that you can't control, but your mind keeps working. Anxiety keeps going up. Your blood pressure going up. All your essential minerals and nutrients are going into fuel, that level of anxiety. And ultimately, you just find yourself in a nervous wreck. And not only a nervous wreck, you are a walking time bomb. Like you'll crash outable at any given moment, because when somebody hits that button of you, that the thing that you were already rehearsing in your mind, you'll just blow up. And that's why you have pet peeves. So that's just the gist of it. But what I was trying to get to the point is talking about the 77-year-old man that I saw on the For You page or whatever. He had a black eye. He was in the bed, in the hospital bed. Asked him, okay, so what was the issue? Dude said he went to confront his bully from grade school. Y'all got kids in here. Y'all know what grade school is. He's 77. He went to confront dude that was bullying him in grade school. Don't you know this bully gave him a black eye? So whooped his behind again 60 years later after the fact. Like, hold that hand. You're not doing nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And what I'm saying to you in this space is that what was the sunken cost of you holding on to that for the past 60 years? And there's a lot of sensitive topics when we start talking about things that we ruminate on. Like when you talk about, SA and all those type of mental and physical abuses that people go through. I'm granted there's some things that you hold on to. And I might lose y'all for this. But holding on to this for the amount of time that you are, knowing that there's nothing that you could have done to control it then, how much further has that led you to where you are now? Because you're walking around here mad at the world. And the world that caused the offense that you're in, they not even here around to even see it. They walking around about their happy business. They not paying attention to nobody. They don't really care. You understand what I'm saying? So it now falls on you to be like, you know what? I am going to take, like I said in the beginning, I said, instead of focusing on making America great again, let's make ourselves great. Let's make our individual, let's make our mental well-being great. Let's make health a priority again for ourselves. And like I said over and over, the government does not have any intention of doing that for you. They've let you know time and time again. Like, they have been very, very explicit on letting you know that you have never been a priority. Everything that we do is under the guise of control. If I can give you this crappy food to cause your system to go array with all kind of inflammation and dysregulation in your body, then I'm send you over to the pharmacist or whatever to give you the drugs that is ultimately going to cause more side effects than the ones that you came in from. And then when them side effects have done their job and done enough destruction, because the one thing about side effects is, the one thing about big pharma is, they will give you side effects for one symptom and then give you prescription for the side effect of the prescription that they initially gave you. So it's a never-ending level, it's a never-ending cycle of side effects or prescription that they continue to give you, right? And then when the body doesn't have any more room to detox or to fight for itself, it ultimately starts to break down. And what happens? The hospital doors are open for you now. You're going to go end up in a hospital bed. You end up in a hospital bed. Insurance is like, yeah, we don't cover that. How many people during the pandemic suffered from the things that insurance don't cover? For the food that was fed, for the immunity that was compromised, for the side effects on the prescriptions that they gave, that the doctor gave, or for the diagnosis that the doctor never had, that he never decided to work on because he was never trained to treat, to cure you from what it is that is your ailment, but to treat the symptoms. But then again, the prescription that he gives you creates more symptoms. Because if you're taking blood pressure medicine, it automatically creates lethargy in your body. So now we got to take something else, right? And if we're taking blood pressure medicine, and when that's not starting to work, now we're going to start to work on your cholesterol too. And now cholesterol, ultimately, when you start to diminish cholesterol, that has been proven over and over again that starts to lead to dementia. So now we are going down a path of just never-ending prescriptions and a path of never-ending remedy. Like, there's no remedy in sight. So with all of that information that you have now, it's like, okay, now if you're not going to help me, I'm going to go look for someone else that can. It's just only right for me. Like, you understand what I'm saying? If it is, that I'm going to continue to present myself to the people that love me and to the people that pay attention to me and the people that have devoted time and effort into my development. Like, you got some solid family members or just friends in general that look up to you, that need your presence, right? That need your presence. And your ability to be mentally strong and mentally well or whatever is just imperative. Like, it's not anything that you can deny on no level. And me coming on here is just your friendly reminder as a friend, like, hey, man, don't neglect yourself so much so trying to chase down this here dollar. Because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, nothing matters but the relationships that you were able to develop and cultivate while you spent the time with the ones that you love. And your ability to do that now is tied to your ability to be, having a sound mind and sound body. You understand me? So again, like, if we to bring this into, we're going to be getting up. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. Anybody has any questions, if you haven't followed me yet, be so kind to give me a follow. I put out content every day, y'all. And the things that I say in my most of my videos are based off of, my life challenges. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I don't want it to sound like I'm being here and being scientific and all that and all this here and put my accolades first. No, I'm just like your brother, your husband, your uncle. I'm just like that, family member in the cookout that has just have had a lot of life experiences that I'm able now to come share with you, because I've been able to make sense of it along the way. I've been able to make sense of it. I've used my life experiences. I've used my education, right? I've used my work expertise, the things that, like, I've been in science since I can remember. Like, everybody asks is like, so what made chemistry a thing for you? I said, because I used to be able to see conversations in 3D. It sounded weird at first till, I got into these biochemistry classes, and literally when you start talking about molecules, I can actually see it. When you talk about, your digestive system, I can actually visualize it while you speak. It's not an arbitrary conversation for me. Like, it's a 3D conversation. And for those that have that same ability, You know what I'm saying? You'll notice it when that happens. So it was something that just came naturally for me, and there's a lot of life in between. So to couple all of that here is, I think it's my God's gift. That's why I say me talking here is part of what I was put on the earth for. It's part of what I was put here for. Because I can have these conversations. Just I'm just going. There's no hi Sydney. There's no stops or breaks or trying to wait for information. No, the information is just flowing. Yes, you're very well explained. I thank you, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. So, but this here is God's gift. Like it's just something I can just continue going. You know what I'm saying? Because I have all of these life experience and all these levels of expertise that I've been able to put together over the years, so that now that I don't there's no pauses. I can just off rip and just continue sharing this information, because the one thing that you will realize that everything that happens in nature, it operates from that point of community. Like there's nothing in nature that, operates in a vacuum. So the nutrients that are supplied to the soil or whatever, it's the fruits that we produce as individuals, or even in nature when you go to the trees don't eat their own fruit. They share it with the world. And that's how we are, if it is that we do come from nature. You understand what I'm saying? You are put on here with a specific set of gifts. You're put on here with a specific task. That is your obligation. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. When you sit up here and say, well, because what happens, you become a hoarder. Like you become stagnant if it is the gift that you have. Because believe it or not, the way that I'm sharing with you now is information that you can have to share with your family, or you can have to share with a loved one. Or you can have a perspective shift. Like I was telling them, thank you, Lord. I was telling them today, like something hit me in the past 2 days, where dude came in and said, controllables and non-controllables. Now, like I said, I've written an ebook on how to manage stress. I have a 30-day plan on my website of how to manage stress. I've dealt with clients either in the gym, weightlifting and stuff like that, or in the health coaching part, where I'm trying to empower you to take action in the direction like motivational interviewing. There's a whole skill behind coaching that a lot of people like. Coaching is not necessarily me telling you what to do. Coaching is me walking alongside you with the things that you want to do and helping, not necessarily encourage you, but give you a perspective that you can hold on to. Because if you can hold on to your perspective, like you came up with the idea and you're working on it, you take more pride in doing it. Like it's a sense of ownership. That's really what coaching is. When you have people trying to tell you like, okay, coaches are specifically put here to tell you what to do. They lied. Can a coach give you a perspective on how they did it, or give you a recommendation? Absolutely. But when you hire a coach is not the coach's job to tell you what to do. You already know in your heart. That's why you went to seek a coach to begin with. Like when you go into sports or whatever, you go into, these professional jobs and whatnot. When you hire a business coach, you're already in business. You understand what I'm saying? You already know that you want clients. You already know that you're trying to get more client retention. You already know that you're trying to improve the quality of your service. So you go to a coach and they help you do because you're the one that's dealing with the clients. It's not nobody else. You're the one dealing with them. So now the coach is there to tell you like, okay, have you considered, since you're doing this, have you considered this? How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel good? You're like, yeah. Then absolutely, you're going to go ahead and do the thing that you already knew to do. And all the coach did was just bring it up out of you. So I'm saying that all of us have those coachable moments. We all have embedded life experiences and things that we've encountered over our lives that put us in a position of knowing. Like it puts you in a position of some level, like you don't have to have all the information or know everything to be able to help someone else. And that's the reason why I'm able to get on here and have these conversations. Like last week when I was going live, I was, in the lab in a code or whatever. And it looked like it was more alluring. But I was like, well, I don't need no code. Like the code is only a part of what I do. The lab code is only a part of what I do. The real person is the one that you have here in full authenticity and living in this truth and coming here and giving you these subtle reminders, because a message sound good, but the reminders that are necessary for you to take action in the direction that you already know to take action. When you look yourself in the mirror, you gotta do something. I didn't have to tell you that. You understand what I'm saying? When you have interactions at work, when you have interactions with the people that you interact with, you already know that you was a little short with them. I didn't have to tell you that. But sometimes it needs someone else to bring that awareness to you, like, you might want to, fall back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like they are human. It's the hardest lesson I had to learn. The hardest. Y'all ready for it? Y'all ready for the lesson? One of the hardest lessons. Somebody type yes in the comments. Y'all want to hear this lesson? This is valuable. This is valuable. It cost me a lot to I'm not even concerned with the likes. It's 4 of us in here, and that's all I need, right? One of the hardest lessons that I had to learn was that the people that offend you, hi, Eric, welcome back. The people that offend you, the people that cause you the most pain, they God's children too. Like, they pray. Jesus loved them. Hear me. The people that cause you the most aggravation, that coworker, in my case, the bigot, the ones that wish you were not here, God loved them too. When you realize that, when you start to operate in that, when that comes part of your identity, like, wait a minute. And this is the reason why the Lord says, when you get hit, turn the other cheek. It didn't mean physically turn the other cheek. He means turn to the other side of your compassion. Turn the other side of your compassion, because right here in this moment, in this phase that you're looking at, you are heated. You live it. And when he says turn the other cheek, it means turn the other side of your compassion. Give him the good side. Because that person that you already take their head off, both of y'all pray to the same God. Both of y'all go to the churches together where there's a pulpit and somebody gives them a message. You know how painful that is? And that was what was very, very hard for a lot of people to actually take in, because there's like, yo, these people, and this was the discrepancy between Malcolm X and Dr. King. It's like, we got to work with this. Then I'm not saying that them got to be buddies. I ain't saying all that now. I'm not saying, be your enemy best friend. I'm saying when you start to take the heart posture that, okay, this person has done something that is extremely unforgivable to me. That's God's child too. And the truth of the matter is, I can't control what they do, how they do, when they do it. That's if you took anything away from this, for the ones that are still here. For the 5 of us still in this room, you can't control what they did, how they did, why they did it. You can't control none of that. What you can control is everything that you can put into place to help strengthen your mental. Help strengthen your mental. And the way that you start to strengthen your mental is by taking full accountability for where you are and strengthening the body, because that gives you some level of reassurance. That strengthens your mind. You understand what I'm saying to you? When you start to strengthen your body, that translates to strengthening your mind, because it takes willpower to be able to strengthen your body. That's not for the faint of heart, man. That's literally what it is, right? Like, you have to go put yourself through mental strain in the gym. That's intentional, punishment. You don't feel good. Who works out and says, in the moment? You go through my page or whatever. I've been doing heavy weights and whatnot, and I've hurt myself one time too many. But when I come back, I am sore. But it's intentional soreness, so that slight pressure, those slight muscle tears, when they start to reconstruct and build better, I become stronger. And that's how your mental fabric works too as well. When you start to put your body through intentional strain, not stress, because there's a difference. Stress could either be positive or negative. So when you have the stressors that you put on yourself as intentional when you go to the gym, is different from the stresses that you're doing when you're harboring some traumatic event from a traumatic event from when you was 10 years old. That's different. You know, if your dad was never there and you have this gap in your feeling, that's why I was talking about relationships. I say the reason why, I'm gonna take this down another path because I got 15 minutes, but we're gonna touch on relationships really quick and how it ties into regulating your nervous system. So let me give you my premise here. Now, whether you like it or not, you experience some level of an emotional gap when you were younger. Either you come out from a two-parent household, you come out from a single father household, a single mother household. There was some gap because you understand that comparison with us starts early as kids. You understand what I'm saying? We happy as all get out, but you watching, Daquan from, next door, whatever. You always operating in something that you didn't have. So now what happens is now when we become adults, we are walking kids that still embody these gaps. So when you say, I found my soulmate, you found the person that was able to fill those gaps that you had long time ago that in some cases you were not even aware of. The things that you value now as an adult, 80 to 90% of them are the things that you did not receive as a child. And this is not just emotional, it's mental. The things that were not available to you. For me, I couldn't afford no J's coming up in the mid 80s and early 90s. So what does Richard do as an adult? Buy like 25 pair, every color, change, jewelry. You understand what I'm saying? You got rims on the car and all that, everything. And then you grow up and my sister like, where you gonna wear them J's to, bro? Like you gonna get to the club, but if you go into a restaurant, a 5-star restaurant, you not coming there with no J's, baby. Go get you a sports coat. I'm like, oh, that's a different level of living. You understand what I'm saying? So you have these gaps in your life as a youngin that you were not even aware of, that you now in your adulthood look for people that have similarities in how you were brought up, and you try to fill those gaps. But what happens to most of us is we go to each and every one that presents themselves looking for them to fill the gap. And when they can't fill the gap, now we get this level of resentment like, oh, nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. And after you've met went from person to person and they haven't been able to fill the gap, after a while you get tired and you ultimately go into your shell and say, I don't need nobody. So when you hear our women say, I don't need no man, they don't need the man that is going to help expand that gap. You're going to expand it. If it is that intention wasn't something that was given, or the things that I experienced at home, like, daddy was strict, or, daddy wasn't there, or mom wasn't even caring, and she never paid attention to the things that I wanted to pay attention to, and my friends got to do all of these things or whatever, you look for the person that can fill that need in your partner. And when you continue to go from person to person, you're looking to fill that gap. And you will only measure your compatibility with the person with the ability for them to fill that gap. And sometimes you don't even know what that gap is. That's a whole fact. In most cases, you don't know. I don't know if I could do this. I got 10 minutes. I don't know. Anyhow, I don't know. You look for someone to fill that gap with, and ultimately when you can't fill that gap, you start to gradually build a resentment. And you start to go back and ruminate on that gap, on that emotional inadequacy that you experience, and you continue to ruminate on it. So when you get older now, you have these boundaries that were not set from a place of even love and empathy, but is set from a place of defense. So that when somebody says something to you, you're easily triggered. And I'm saying all of those little things have an adverse effect on your body as a whole. Like your liver holds emotional turmoil. Like it holds that as a physical entity. You understand what I'm saying? that inhibits its progress or inhibits its natural progress of trying to detox and send out, the pancreas send out insulin and stuff like that. All of the functions of the liver, your liver holds a ton of emotion. It's ultimately stops your ability to produce serotonin, and you will see people with heightened anxiety have depression that follows because it's a height and crash. So what I'm saying is, if you don't take anything away from this, because today we're not really talking about supplementation, we're just talking about the mental shifts that are required to take the next step, to control the things that you have the capacity to control, and leave the things alone that you can't control. I had to tell myself that. Jimmy, live will end in 5 minutes. Why y'all do that to me? I don't like these people. Anyway, and focus on the things that you can control. Like, hold those things dearly. Because I guarantee you, when you continue to win at the things that you can control, those things continue to bear. The things that you can control, when you continue to focus on that, continues to bear fruit. That continues to give you reassurance. That continues to put you in a mental space of being a winner. And this is how you have that winner mindset. Because the things that you set out for yourself to do, you're doing them. And the things that you can't control, it's just going to be what it be. And there's nothing else you could do about it. Like, what I'm going to do? I can't do nothing about it. I can't think my way out of it. That's why the book of Matthew says, worrying did nobody no good. Like, worrying is not about to add another minute to your life. Worrying is not about to put food in the pantry, in the refrigerator if it wasn't already there. Worrying about the light bill is not about to make them stop cutting from shutting the light off. Yes, I said shut your light off because grown ass man over here and I've had my light shut off. I'll tell the truth. It is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? Because of irresponsibility. So now I have everything. Like, I'm the one that can hit the hand on my chest and say, I've been there, done that. And for me to express that level of vulnerability is to tell you that you can come out of it. You can come out of it. Like, you can walk in another direction. You can hyper focus on the things that are working, and those things will continue to bear fruit, and you will continue to live a high, vibrant life. And you'll start to see your life. You'll start to see the things that work in your life start to be more evident. It will show. I guarantee you. When you let things stress you less, like the things that you can't control, you hyper focus on those, because you start hyper focusing on those, you're going to accomplish those. And the things that you can't control, it will start to show because you just start to feel a little bit lighter. You understand what I'm saying? You start to feel a little bit more present. You start to feel... I'm trying to tell you, man, and it's not even... I appreciate you. Thank you, Lord. I really do. You know what I'm saying? I done been through the ringer. Like, not in a bad way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Never, thank God, was never behind nobody bars or not. But, I've been in proximity, all of it. And there's some decisions that you make, coming up like... That's a no. No. We ain't going to go over there. I don't care how glamorous it looks. That's a no. We're not going to do that. We're going to go on the other side. Right. And then having a level of experience and versatility in all of these directions gives me access into most rooms that people can't get into. Because I can go in the middle of the projects and politic with my partners over there. Easy. You won't even know. Like, look the part, dress the part, speak the part. Easy. This whole phonetics and everything that I'm talking about now, and all these big words right here, we'll put that over here on the side real quick. And we're going to go over here. I'm going to relate to the people that I can't relate to and talk to them in a way that they can digest. Yeah, they know I'm not part of them, but they know I'm not. You understand what I'm saying? And then we're going to take this all the way to the White House and sit down in front of the administration, and we can actually start talking regulations and start really breaking it down in such a way that, okay, now, tell me how this is president. Let's go down history. Let's go down memory lane or go back into the Arnolds, 100 years ago and tell me how this thing that you're doing is going to work. Like, when you go down into the administration, you'll see that everything that he's doing was done, in the 80s with Reagan. No different. Everything that's being done now, the reason why we are so panicky, we was young, we was babies. If you got 80 babies in here, you got 70 babies in here. If there are any 60 babies in here, they're aware of what Reagan did. It's the same thing. These mass deportations and these massive firings and all that, Reagan did the exact same thing. But then again, we didn't have the level of technology that we have, and you didn't hear nothing about it, right? So now, being the capacity to get that information and break it down for each and every subset of every class is why I say this is a gift that God has been able to give to me, and I would be doing the world a disservice if I didn't share it. I'll be doing the world a disservice if I didn't share it. I will literally sit here and hold pertinent information that has the capacity of transformation for those that are willing. Because the message that made the whole transformation yesterday for me was like, oh boy got on and he was like, it says, when you are ready, you say you are receiving this message because God knows you're ready. I'm like, what? And I ain't think none of it. And when I heard it, I was like, I am ready. So it's a few of me that's out here that's actually paying attention to me right now, that when the Lord knows that you're ready, he will send the teacher for you to be able to elevate. He's going to give you the information that is necessary for you to take the next step. And you taking the next step involves that you create the next impact for the next person, right? So I got to get off in about 7 minutes. Well, hi, Michelle Maybell. Welcome. That's my wife. We'll end on this. Your ability to let go of the things that you can control gives you an extreme advantage over the things that you can't. I say it again. Your ability to let go of the things that you have no control over gives you an extreme advantage over the things that you can. So before we round up, when you start to ruminate or stop ruminating over the things that you have no control over, you give all of that energy and life force to the things that you can control. And the things that you can control create confidence and competence in your spirit, because you will start to see the fruits of your labor in real time. Because if it is that you're going to walk 10,000 steps a day, you can't control that. Like I said, we had a nice day out here in the DMV area, whatever. You will see it, wake up tomorrow and you look at the calendar, or you look at your Fitbit, you're like, I did 10,000 steps today, tomorrow I'm going to set out to do more. And that gives you a level of exhilaration, that gives you a level of excitement to continue to do more. And the things that you can't control compound. They get better and they create and give you an atmosphere for more confidence. But the things that you cannot control, however, it's a death spiral. It's futility. Like, finish him. Because you find yourself stuck in mud. You're thinking about it and there's no solution. And you're thinking about it and you're going around in circles and you're harching out the same thing. And you're talking about it and you're like, I can't control what that man does. I can't control what that woman does. I can't control what they say to me at work. I can only control the things that I want to give life. Because rumination is giving life in the opposite direction. You're giving life to dead entities. You're giving life to dead ways of thinking. Like my pastor used to say back in the day, you're giving life to stinking thinking. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for joining on tonight. We're going to try to come back tomorrow and have a conversation. I don't know what we're going to talk about. This is just being led by the Spirit here. I thank y'all so much. For those that haven't followed me, your 90 baby over there, Sharon Smith, we're going to be here tomorrow, man. Y'all set y'all notifications on for when I come live, man. I don't know what I'm coming on with, but it's all things concerned with Jimmy Poe. Jimmy Poe, why do you seem familiar? Look like somebody I know. I don't know. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're going to come back tomorrow, man. Y'all set y'all notifications on, and, if it is that you want something to talk about, like, it doesn't always, I come up with the topics. Don't get me wrong. I talk for days. One thing I tell you. But if y'all do want something that we can deliberate on, y'all leave that on, my last video, or the one I posted this afternoon, or the one I'm going to post tonight. Y'all leave that on there, or send me a direct message or whatever. And we'll be able to talk about it. and like dive deep. But it's always going to be surrounded around health. It's going to be surrounded around living better, hypertension, lowering diabetes, just living your best life. Some are here, man. Some are here, baby. We got to live our best lives and things. I appreciate y'all so much for joining tonight. I will see y'all tomorrow.